Hey everyone, it is Haley Gabrielle, and today we will be reading from Smith Wigglesworth's The Complete Collection of his life's teaching. Here is what the book looks like, and we will be on page 783. The heading is called Reconstructed. So it says, I am continually confronted with things which God must clear away. Every day something comes before me that has to be dealt with on these lines. For instance, when I was at Cazadero 7 or 8 years ago, amongst the first people that came to me in those meetings was a man who was stone deaf. And every time we had the meeting, suppose I was rising up to say a few words, this man would take his chair from off the ordinary row and place it right in front of me. And the devil used to say, now you are done. I said, no, I am not done. It is finished. The man was as deaf as possible for 3 weeks. And then in the meetings, as we were singing about 3 weeks afterwards, this man became tremendously disturbed, as though in a storm. He looked in every direction, and he became as one that had almost lost his mind. And then he took a leap. He started on the run and went out amongst the people, and right up one of the hills. When he got about 60 yards ago, he heard singing, and the Lord said, thy ears are open. And he came back, and we were still singing. That stopped our singing. And then he told us that when his ears were opened, he could not understand what it was. There was such a tremendous noise, he could not understand it whatever. He thought something had happened to the world, and so he ran out of the whole thing. Then, when he got away, he heard singing. Oh, the devil said for 3 weeks, you cannot do it. I said, it is done. As though God would ever forget. As though God could ever forget. As if it were possible for God to ever ignore our prayers. Yeah, so we'll just stop there. But I thought this was such an encouraging little testimony, so a couple key points. The first one is there was a temptation for Smith to doubt, right? Because the first couple nights of the meeting, or for even a couple weeks, there was no change, no visible change in the man. And the devil was kind of trying to tempt Smith by saying, oh, look, you can't do it. This guy still can't hear, whatever. And Smith just in his mind said, no. He quoted the word, which is very important. He kept the word on his lips, and he said, no. The word says it is finished. Okay, so he kept the faith and he kept persevering. And then during worship, that's another key point. So Smith first kept the word on his lips, all right? Then during worship, so they were praising the Lord. During worship, the man's ears opened, and it caused quite a ruckus. So he ran out because he didn't know what was going on, which I think is so sweet, because honestly, if you just got your hearing for the first time ever, you wouldn't know what was going on. You'd be so confused. And then the Lord spoke, again, the Lord's word. He spoke to this man who was previously deaf and said, thy ears are opened. So then the man returned, and there was just such excitement. I can only imagine how exciting that would be for all those people that had known this man for years and years and knew that he had been deaf, for as long as they can remember, now seeing this amazing miracle that his ears were opened. So I can just imagine the joy in everyone's demeanor when they saw this man return. And so I can imagine how excited Smith was as well, because he stood fast on the word of God. He stood fast in faith, and he saw the end result happen. He called those things which were not as though they were from the beginning, quoting the word of God. So that is your encouragement for today, and that's your encouraging testimony. Again, faith in action makes things happen. So continue pressing on, dear Christian soldier. Continue the journey on, and do not lose heart, and continue to keep the word of God on your lips. So be blessed, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that, and have a great rest of your day. Talk to you later.